We have Styx coming up. They'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina on July 8th, playing at the PNC Music Pavilion. And today we are wonderfully joined by Lawrence Gowan, the singer, the keyboardist, the all-around superstar involved with Styx. So, Lawrence, how are you doing today?
I'm very, very pleased now, Nathaniel, with that introduction. I mean, how could I not be?
Awesome. So, you
Yeah.
guys are on your tour. You're celebrating the Grand Illusion album. You're also other hits as well. How has the tour so far? You guys started in South Carolina, just a little bit south of us,
Yep.
and now you guys are in Texas right now. How's the tour been so far?
Yeah, we've done four shows at this point. Yes, as you mentioned, yeah, starting out in Greenville, South Carolina, and we're in Austin tonight. Absolutely fantastic response to it so far. I mean, just amazing that I can't shut off these things. The response from people to hearing the Grand Illusion in its entirety is it's a challenge for us to do it in its exact order that it appears on the record. But oh my God, the response we're getting from the I like to call them the faithful, like yourself, is pretty it's pretty overwhelming.
Neat. And what was the inspiration behind doing this album in its entirety on this tour?
Well, we did a DVD of it back in 2010, I believe it was. We did Grand Illusion and Pieces of Eight in their entirety. You know, that was the entire show. And as I say, a DVD of that came out and that did very well. And then we had a residency. We've done a residency for the past 7 years. Usually at the very end of January, beginning of February, we do this 2 week residency in Las Vegas. And every year we have a different theme, you know, for we've done various things. Last year it was I got to use one of Liberace's pianos and candelabra and stage jacket for one song. Pretty amazing. But this year we decided let's play Grand Illusion in its entirety again, you know. And just as I said, the response from the audience and the fact that they embrace this album as an album, and we're always trying to kind of continue to convey that that is the best way to listen to classic rock is in its entirety in the LP form. And so we played the full Grand Illusion, and because of the response to it, we just thought let's just do that for the summer tour. I think that's going to really ignite people's imaginations.
Awesome. Are there any particular songs from the Grand Illusion that you really look forward to playing every time?
Yes, I mean, obviously, "Fooling Yourself" is a great song. The title track is tremendous. There's not a bad song on the record, obviously, but "Come Sail Away" is always a huge moment. Uh, Amazing that we have to play it fourth in the night because it appears fourth in the on the album. There's another song on side two, "Man in the Wilderness," that Tommy Shaw gets to sing that is a joy to work on. "Miss America" with JY. I do have a particular affinity for Castle Walls. That's got a great it's such a slow burn, that song, and it really it's amazing how it pulls people into the overall I think the overall flavor of the album in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that whole album is just absolutely spectacular. But you guys do have a new album coming out this year. Circling from Above is coming out. Well, what's the story on that album? Are you guys excited for it? Will we get to hear some of those songs on stage as well?
Well, we've released the first song from the album. It's called "Build and Destroy." The album's title is "Circling from Above," and just again, I have to say, people are still, especially people that are generally people under 40 who weren't even born when the biggest records of the classic rock era came out, and they have fallen in love as you have with, like, say, Grand Illusion or Pieces of Eight or basic other albums of that era. We try to tie the sonic, the audio sound of the record and the feel of it to that era. So we've done that again with Circling from Above, as we did on Crash the Crown and The Mission. And with the response, I just got great number from our um, record company that it's sold really, really well in the very first week just with the single. So the album's official release is not until July. So it's off to a great start, and 53 years into the life of Styx, we're still doing new music and hoping that people like yourself gravitate towards it.
Awesome. So one thing I wanted to ask about for yourself personally, Styx started as a family affair, obviously with Chuck and
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
And now you have your brother in the band. He recently joined as the bassist with you guys. How's it been like playing with a family member up on stage?
Well, prior to my joining, I've been in Styx now for 26 years. Prior to me joining them, I was signed in Toronto, in Canada. I was signed to CBS Records, and I had 6 solo albums. And all the tours that I did for 14 years, from 1982 to 1999, um, those tours, Terry, my brother, was the bass player on all those tours. He also played on a number of my albums alongside, Tony Levin and Alex Lifeson and John Anderson of Yes. So he's well steeped and seasoned in the in the genre, so to speak. Um, I've been doing solo shows, just Gowan shows, just my last name, from 2010 till the present, and very often, more for most of those shows, Todd Zuckerman has been our drummer. So of course, Todd is the drummer from Styx. So when it was time, when we saw that it's time for someone to step into the bass chair again, to help out Chuck, Todd immediately suggested Terry, and then the other guy said, I hear great things about him. I said, he'd be a perfect fit, yeah, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And so in the year and about a year and a half now he's been in it. It's been tremendous because he really nails it every night. But don't tell him I said that. Yeah.
Awesome. Really cool that you guys are able to get together back on stage again.
You know what, Nathaniel? It's funny because Chuck Panozzo said the band started as with brothers. He and John Panozzo, along with Dennis DeYoung, of course, but and JY. But he said it's nice to have brothers back in the band again. So I'm trying to live up to his expectation.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
So you mentioned your solo career. Any chance we'll get to hear any of those songs anytime soon, or you gonna plan to perform on your own again, or is Styx kind of your permanent gig from now on?
Well, Styx has always been my permanent gig, so to speak, for the past 26 years. But we'll do about 96 shows this year, and I'll play 25 solo shows. I just go from Vancouver all the way across Canada to St. John's, Newfoundland. Actually, the next solo show comes up in a couple of weeks in St. John's, Newfoundland. Because it's the 25th anniversary of an album I did. Sorry, it's the 40th anniversary of an album I did called Strange Animal back in 1985. It was a triple platinum record in Canada, #1 record, and never got released in the United States. But there's still such a great audience for that, so I always play a good number of solo shows along with a good whack of stick shows every year.
Awesome. So as you mentioned, you've been in Styx since 1999. You've released a few albums with them. You've toured all over the world. What do you think is the highlight during your time with Styx? What are some of your favorite memories?
That is one of the hardest things to answer, Nathaniel. We've played at the Super Bowl twice, so it's easy to kind of reference those. We played the London Palladium, for example. I'm originally from Scotland, grew up in Toronto, but to play at the London Palladium and have my aunt there, who used to be my babysitter in Scotland, and those kinds of things, those are extremely memorable. Sweden Rock, playing in Japan was phenomenal. In America, I have to say, playing obviously, when you see New York or Los Angeles, those are big nights on the calendar. But some of the greatest highs that we've had are in unexpected places, places that we, may have had just average expectation as to how it's going to go, and then it suddenly exceeds that by leaps and bounds. And that's why it's very difficult for me to pinpoint. I've just mentioned a few of the bigger highlights, so to speak. But sometimes we'll be playing in Des Moines, Iowa, or we'll be playing in Charlotte, and something phenomenal is going to happen there. I remember was one night in Charlotte, funny enough, such a torrential rain just about canceled the show, and then almost like it was divine intervention from the gods of rock. After this torrential rain, the clouds parted and we wound up playing that show. And that was one of the most memorable nights I've ever had there. So um, it's a moving target to try to choose that.
Yeah, obviously So many memories from your time with this band. Obviously, you've been with it for a quarter of a century now, so quite a while you've been with Styx.
Oh, you put it in those terms.
Uh, so you bring up a very unique Charlotte concert there. Obviously, that is probably one that sticks at the top of your mind. But just curious, any other memories of Charlotte or the Carolinas that come to your mind during your times on tour?
Ah, well, I love walking around there. That's one of my, I love walking around various cities in America. But Charlotte, yeah, very much so. Raleigh, I know is Raleigh, South Carolina or North Carolina? I can't remember. I get them mixed up. But they got a great hockey team there, and my Canadian blood, of course, gets stirred anytime I'm in a city that's got a great hockey team.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I mean, you're Canadian. That's hockey. That's your go-to thing up there.
It's a mandated passion.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you've been in the band for, like I said, a quarter of a century. Kind of weird to probably hear it that way.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the magic has worn off over the years, but do you still sometimes just take a moment to reflect on the fact that you're playing with Tommy Shaw on stage, you're playing with J.Y. Young on stage? Like, what does that feeling ever go away that like, wow, I'm playing with these absolute legends? But obviously you're now a legend yourself. But how has that feeling stayed the same over the years, or has it dwindled over the years? How is that?
I can tell you completely honestly, it has not worn off at all. In fact, we seem to be a band that is we reset our enthusiasm every single night we go on stage. We honestly, it's like Todd says, we and I'm going to touch wood all over the place when I say this, but we never really have a bad night because there's such enthusiasm and fire in every member of the band when we step on stage. And as you say, I look across at Tommy Shaw and I go, I'm as entertained as anyone in the audience, as I always am, consistently, night after night. And we played thousands of shows together now. And it's the same with JY. When Chuck walks out, there's the legacy of the band is the embodiment of him. It started in his house. So I feel very connected to in fact, I feel very connected to the entire history of the band. So I see us as, the Styx as it exists today. We are the culmination of all the efforts of everyone that's ever been in the band. So I can feel still, I can feel a consistency of quality and of passion for what we do right from the very beginning. When John Panazzo and Dennis DeYoung and John Serluski, and then later Glenn Burtnick and Ricky Phillips were all in the band. I feel that we are the culmination of all the efforts of everyone that's ever been in the group. And so to have James Young, Chuck Panazzo, Tommy Shaw still on stage with the band in this era is not something that just goes by me, casually.
Awesome. So, anything in particular that fans should be looking out for during the show? Maybe if they've seen Styx a couple times, and they're going and they're still excited. Is there anything particularly on this tour that you hope blows them away?
Well, I hope that the new song "Build and Destroy" helps to blow them away. We have a tremendous on this video on this run. We've decided to employ a monster-sized video screen that sits behind the band that kind of carries you through the band's history in a lot of ways, but also kind of connects mostly to the lyrics of the song. So when we play, it's very difficult, Nathaniel, to wedge any new song into a Styx set because in JY's quote, there's an embarrassment of riches of great Styx songs to play in the show. But Build and Destroy has kind of earned its spot in that it's the brand new single, but also that have responded so in the first four shows anyway have responded so well to it, and we have tremendous video content that we're playing in front of. In fact, we have avatars of all the guys in the band on the screen behind us, so we're really embracing that good old technology that was warned about way back when Styx did Kilroy was here.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly looking forward to all of that. I think that's just about all I had to ask today. Do you have anything else you want to input about the tour or anything you guys have coming up that you'd like to peg to?
Just looking forward to keeping the epic adventure of a live stick show, alive and well, and particularly for people like yourself, who I'm going to guess, unless you had some amazing work done, you weren't even born in the classic rock era, and yet you love that music, as do we. So we just want to keep spreading the word and keep people wearing T-shirts like that.
Absolutely. Well, Lawrence, it was an absolute pleasure to get to speak with you today, and we look forward to seeing you here in Charlotte on July 8th. And hope you have a great rest of the tour, and hope you have a great rest of your day.
Great to chat with you, Nathaniel. Great questions, and looking forward to seeing you on the 8th of July.